really excited about today's guest. We've got my girl, Keisha. Keisha, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
I couldn't be better. Down here in the Tampa office today. Full house, packed office. Seems pretty sunny outside. A lot of production going on. Life is good, Keisha. Um,
It is.
Keisha, I wanted to get you on for a lot of reasons. Number one, clearly you're absolutely killing it. You're pretty consistently producing 40 to $50,000 about every month. Is that about right?
Yeah. I feel like that's been like the latest within the last probably 3, 4 months now. So I like this trend. I'm gonna keep on this trend.
Keep on that trend. What is very, very impressive. Obviously, the volume is fantastic, but your persistency is unbelievable. I think, trending this year, you're the best quality business by an agent in our entire company, which, hats off to you.
Mm,
I say it all the time.
thank
Selling
you.
a business is one thing. Keeping it on the books, just as important. And a lot of people miss the boat on that. So I didn't look today. I was traveling, flying. It's been a busy, crazy day. But the last time I looked, you were like mid to high 90s in persistency, which is
Mhm.
insane at the volume that you sell. So there's something to it, Keisha. There's something to it. We're gonna dive.
God did. God did.
Yeah, yeah. Give everybody your story just a little bit. I think some people know who you are. There's a lot of people that don't. So, how did you find your way into the life insurance space? And you didn't come out the gate killing it, did you?
No, I didn't. So I
So, walk
started. Go ahead.
through,
Go.
no, walk through that a little bit.
Yeah, so I started at we had I was at the old IMO. Started
Hmm.
there. I started with final expense, which I feel like got my reps in. Got me I feel like that has helped me with my persistency actually because I was able to have those tough conversations in the very beginning when I didn't know anything about sales or being a life insurance broker. And came to Pinnacle, sought out Mindy's, came to Pinnacle, and with her copy and paste and just following the model because that's all I did, and just making sure I'm disciplined and I show up. Here we are. It took some time, but it's not how. And I've been saying this a lot lately, so if you guys hear me say it, it's because it's the truth. But how you start is not how you finish. And I'm happy that I didn't give up. I'm happy that I kept going because a lot of people don't. They don't keep going. When they don't see the results that they want, they give up. And I'm happy that I stuck it through because I wouldn't be able to see where I am now. And I felt the 3 feet away from gold, um, but I couldn't see it. But now I'm happy that I get to live it.
I love that. And you're so right. We've all seen that meme, I think, on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, where, people are down, they're mining for the gold and they're so close and they give up, they quit. I
Yes.
wonder, specifically in this industry, like there is a real learning curve. And so much of it is about the discipline, the grind, and the coachability. It's shocking to me, Keisha, how many people come in and, they've got an unbelievable mentor that is, having the success and making the money and making the impact that they want to be making. But
Mhm.
they listen to the mentor and it goes in one ear and out the other. I don't know if they think they know better. I don't know what this is. It's pride, ego. I don't know, laziness, but there's a disconnect and people will spin their wheels over and over and over again until they spin their way out of the business. And it's one
Mhm.
of those things where you see the potential in people, you want them to win at a high level, but they just won't put the work in. And I'm glad that that's not your story. When did you get licensed, Keisha?
October 2021. So
Okay,
I've
so
been
you've
at
been
this
licensed
for a
for a good
minute.
bit.
hmm
I love it. At what point did it all start to kind of click for you?
When I joined Mindy's team,
When was that?
that was, I want to say like a year and some months ago. I want to say that. I think it was like a year and a few months ago.
That makes sense. I remember Mindy calling me and telling me. that you were joining her team. I remember how excited she was. And
Ooh.
yeah, by the way, shout out to Mindy. Mindy is
Yes.
unbelievable mentor, unbelievable mentor. Mindy keeps things 100% of the time. And that is like, if you have a mentor in your life that shoots you straight, some
Mhm.
people kind of buck against that because they want the warm and fuzzy feeling of somebody telling them they're doing a great job, the attaboy, the pat on the back. That doesn't help anybody grow. Like your mentor should be challenging you to be better and get better. And they should be equipping you and empowering you with the right tools and the right resources to get there. So if you're a mentor and you're listening on this call and you're not doing that, you have to fix that. If you have a mentor that's not doing that for you, ask yourself why. Have they tried and you got defensive? They feel like they can't? That could be a problem. Have that conversation. Communicate with your mentor, and mentors communicate with your mentees. So, Keisha, walk me through. I think this would be very helpful for people that are listening in. So you start October of 21. You didn't get with
Mhm.
Mindy until practically 3 years later, two and a half years later. So you lasted 2.5 years in the space. Really, what would you say your average month was in issue paid production during the first 2.5 years?
Ooh, 30. And that's after I started making my own ads. So that was 30. That was 30K was the highest.
The highest. What would you say would be like an average month?
15. It was very low. It was like pathetic.
Oh, it's not pathetic. This is super valuable to people listening in because there's a lot of people that are today where you were. Like they're in that 10, 15, 20K range, which I always say, Keisha, this business doesn't get good until you're consistently above 15 to $17,000 a month. If you are issuing less than 15 to 17, like, oh, you're on the bubble. By the time you paid for leads, by the time you got some chargebacks, now you don't know what chargebacks are, Keisha, but a lot of agents do. I'm
I do know what chargebacks are.
just messing with you. But Um, if you're netting 3, 4, 5, 6 grand a month in this business, dude, it's a lot of hard work and uncertainty to do that. Like I tell people, and you need to figure out how to get above 20K, or else you should go get a W-2 job. Now, here's the good news. I believe that anybody can do above 20K. Like if they just work hard, if they're coachable and they stop doing the things that are hurting them and start doing the things that would help them, like 20K is not, it's not a high bar. But we need to get agents there. So what changed? Walk me through what were the things that you were doing and the things that you weren't doing. We'll call it like before Mindy and after Mindy.
Okay, I like to call it that too. And when I say pathetic, I don't mean because I'm very conscious of how my words can come across people. I'm not saying pathetic is that's bad. It was bad for me because I was only in the final expense realm. I wasn't doing mortgage protection at all. So
Got
for
it.
to do that, I guess that shows a lot of hustle and bustle. But to walk you guys through, I didn't have a problem with showing up. I didn't have a problem with discipline. I've always been a go-getter. My biggest problem was the mentorship. I know that this is a copy and paste business, but I was always on the other end wondering I wasn't why wasn't my production as high? Why not me type of mentality, right? And and to see and to hear the same, the same spiel, like, I'm not any different from you, blah, blah, blah. However, I want to say I would contribute my mentorship to my success. So reaching out to Mindy, knowing that what I was doing was not working and it wasn't the results that I knew I was capable of, and knowing that I needed a better mentor to get there. Like I know I couldn't do it on my own, but I sought out Mindy, and I watched her. I was always watching Mindy because I was always impressed by her. So I always watched her, I always listened to her. When she got on the training calls, I listened, I wrote notes, speaking to other top producers as well, knowing that like asking them for help, not being what's the word, too shy to go up to them and asking them what's working for them so that I could, replicate that or duplicate that. And I think those were, I would say those two things were the
That
things
makes
that change in order for me to be where I am now after
sense.
Mindy.
So when you're first working with Mindy, if I know Mindy pretty well, she probably audited your business, what you were doing,
Yes.
what leads you're buying, what your schedule was. Like Mindy she's not taking any hostages. Mindy's the kind of person, she's like, hey, if we're gonna work together, this is what we're doing. And it's out of love, by the way. It's completely out of love. Mindy's like, hey, if we're gonna work together, I want you to win. I don't, Mindy does not like having losers on her team.
Nope.
And I love that. That's fantastic. What were the things as she audited your business that she said, hey, we have to stop doing this and we have to start doing this? Obviously, final expense to mortgage protection was a big one for you. But what about your schedule? What about your lead spend? Were there things materially, tangibly that had to change, or was it just, the how to?
Uh, I would say that it was the lead spend for sure, because I was getting kind of nervous spending that amount of leads coming from final expense and I wasn't making money. So Minty definitely had to hold my hand with that. So I was like, Dad, you really want me to spend this amount? And I'm like, but I don't have that amount. And then how am I going to pay my other bills knowing that I don't have that amount? But again, like knowing that she wasn't going to steer me wrong, and all I had to do was listen. If if you could show me the game and all I got to do is listen and repeat the game, I'm going to do it. Because even in final expense, I was that agent that tried to, oh, let me do something a little bit different and see how that works. And it didn't work. It never worked. So I know that copy and paste structure works. And then also lead spend schedule. So I told me hit President's Club. So I had to revamp my schedule, what that looks like, making sure that I have the 30 appointments at the end of by the end of the week, I can account for 30 appointments. Um, and I would also say, so lead spend, the 30 appointments, and just being consistent, even on the days that I didn't want to be consistent, even on the days that I didn't feel like showing up. Even now, like this past weekend, she reached out to me and we had an amazing conversation about like where I'm at right now. And it's okay. President's Club is near, and just giving me the extra comfort that I need to hear, knowing that I'm busting my behind to make it happen, and I want I want it to happen, and I'm gonna make it happen.
I love
So
it.
I hope I answered your question,
Oh,
Joe.
oh, you did. It sounds like it was, the funny thing, Keisha, and I wasn't fishing. I didn't know what you were going to say, but I'm also not surprised by your answer. And if I could help the people that are listening in, you got to understand that when you're not winning, when you're not making money, when you're not finding the success you want, it's so easy to get inside your own head. And when you get inside your own head, a few different things happen. Number one, it's easy to get into a victim mentality where it's like, you know, why not me? Why is everybody else winning? What's going on? What do they know that I don't know? What do they have that I don't have? And as an entrepreneur, the second you get into a victim mentality, you've already lost the game. You've lost. Now, it doesn't mean you lost the
Mhm.
entire war, but you certainly lost the battle that day. And that's a problem. Like as an entrepreneur, we have to be victors, not victims. So, the only way you're going to be a victor, dude, you have to go seek out the right knowledge, the right information, the right mentorship, the right fill in the blank. Like, if you haven't heard me say this, I haven't said it in a while on a call, write this down. Just write this down and underline it, put it in bold. No one is coming to save you. You have to live your life that way in business. It is our job to create our own destiny. It doesn't usually fall into your lap. You have to go out and make the right connections and make the right relationships and ask all the right questions to figure out what is the knowledge that I'm missing. Because that's what it is. There is a knowledge gap. And the knowledge isn't the thing that's going to save you by itself. Applied knowledge is going to save you. So I've got two different types of agents that are losing right now in Pinnacle. Agent number one, Keisha, they're the agents that do not have, I don't know whether it's they're self-conscious. I don't know whether it's too much ego that goes on either spectrum, either end of the spectrum. Either they have a really low self-esteem or too much, but they don't ask the right questions. So they have a real knowledge gap from where they are to where they want to go. They're missing key information. And if they keep spinning their wheels with the knowledge they have, they're not going to win, right? That's agent number one. Agent number two, they have all the knowledge in the world. They're just lazy. They're not disciplined. They don't go to work. So knowledge won't save you. Applied knowledge will save you. You just wrote down, you need to act as if no one is coming to save you. So as you go and you're asking the right questions, who should you ask the questions to? You should ask the questions only to people that are where you want to be. Not the people that say they are where you want to be. Not the people that are in your boat with you today. They can't help you. All they are is an echo chamber complaining about the same things that you are. You got to find people that are winning and there's tangible proof. Inspect what you expect. Are they living the life that I want to live? Are they making the money I want to make? Do they have the relationships that I want to have? Do they have the integrity and ethics that I want to have? They start checking off those boxes. Beg, borrow, steal, get in front of those people, call them, text them, email them, do whatever you got to do to figure out what are they doing that you're not doing? What are they not doing that you are doing? Because this is a copy and paste business. Plain and simple. If you were to right now, Keisha, if we had, I don't know how many President's Club members we'll have this year, dozens and dozens of President's Club members. If we were to interview all of them at the same time, here's what you'd find. Almost all of them are doing about the exact same thing in their day-to-day business. Their schedule looks eerily the same. Their lead spend looks eerily the same. Their scripts probably look almost identical. Like there's not this wide variance that people think there are. And sometimes it's confusing because people get on and because of their ego, they try to make it seem like they have some kind of secret sauce. They don't have secret sauce. No one has secret sauce. Nobody does. They're working harder than you. They're spending more than you. They're probably asking better questions than you. Those are the things they have in common. I want to get back to you, Keisha. I want to ask this question. When you were working final expense, I have never asked you this, but I could almost guarantee that your persistency was not what it is today, right?
Mm, it wasn't. It was not.
It was not.
And I also wanted to add while you were talking, I had a thought. So one of the things that Mindy said was what would be the hardest thing for me at Pinnacle was being coachable. Because at that time I had already had a team, and my team is the reason why I'm at Pinnacle actually. But that was the part of advice that I wanted to say, that was the hardest part, like just to make sure that I was coachable. And because she told me that, I already knew that the odds were against me for that. So I made sure that I was very coachable and I listened to everything that she said.
I love that. But that's a great job by Mindy setting very clear expectations from the beginning of the relationship, right? Which most people in leadership don't do. They get excited. They're excited to work with a new business partner. And, I don't think it's out of bad intentions, but they'll kind of let things go too long before they have the hard conversations. You need to have the hard conversations early in a relationship. Hey, these are my non-negotiables. If you're not coachable, this isn't going to work. And clearly that worked for you. The point I was getting at on the persistency, Keisha, most final expense producers average about a 70% persistency. And obviously we have some agents that do much better than that. And unfortunately, we have some agents that are right there at that 70% mark. Your persistency is insane. To be high 90s, I mean, it's pretty unheard of, Keisha. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Clearly, Your clients are not confused. You're building a ton of value in a sale. Value exceeds price tag. And also, like, people don't buy if they don't like and trust you. So your clients really like you. They really trust you. Give us some sauce. For the agents that are wondering why they're dealing with chargebacks, give us some real good info on what we could be doing to keep more clients on the books.
I would start off, got all notes here too. I would start off with being human because people, one of just my personality period is I'm a lover for people. I love people. And because they can't see me, and I started off with in-homes, because they can't see me, they have to feel me. I want them to feel me through the phone. So I want them to feel that I have a heart. So I'm asking deep questions, like, what would it look like if both of you were to pass away at the same time? What would that look like for the family? How would that change the dynamics for the family? I need them to walk me through because again, I don't know them. I need them to paint it to a picture so I can see it in my head and I'm walking it through with them on the phones because I'm very visual. And in order for me to care, I have to feel it. So I need them to give me the play-by-play of what that is going to look like when the breadwinner is no longer there, or if they cannot work due to an injury, a sickness, a disability. I need them to paint that picture to me. And I'm honing in on those or what they're saying, and I'm writing that in the financial inventory sheet. I'm taking that, I'm writing everything in there. Because again, I'm not going to remember everything. That's number one. And number two, I needed to be able to use as ammo later so that I can, when I'm going over as to why this mortgage protection coverage can help them, how that can like basically use that. And another thing is I like to we have to be memorable because oftentimes when we're speaking to clients, a lot of them have spoken to agents already and they
Oh yeah.
didn't have the best experience. So if I already know that, then I know that I got to be memorable. I got to I got to set the tone and the expectations. I got to hold them by the hand. I got to paint it for them. This is what we're going to do, Joe. I'm going to ask you some health and financial questions. Not to be invasive, not to be all up in your business, but I need to customize the mortgage protection so that it meets you and your family's needs. I'm also going to ask you to verify your background so that you're not blindsided. I'm going to ask you for your background so I know that it's you. And then also at the end, we're going to pick a option, one that meets your budget and fits your needs. And we're going to submit this application. I don't say it like that, but we're going to submit this application. But in so many ways, that's what I'm doing. I'm
Right.
holding their
How do you
hand and
say
I'm
it
walking through the process. Go ahead. What'd you say?
How do you say it specifically? Because I actually like the way you just said that. I actually thought it was great.
Okay. Well,
You were very
thank you.
assumptive.
So
I like assumptive language. I like again setting expectations for your clients. So how exactly do you say that when you're live with a client?
okay. So I'm basically saying it's a pretty comprehensive coverage. It pays out in several different ways. This is me setting the stage, the tone. So they do require for you to be risk assessed. That's all my job is. Joe, is just to verify you are who you say you are. Ask you a couple of health and financial questions because I work with all the carriers in the state, all the insurance carriers in the state. And you do have to qualify for these plans because I don't want them to be blindsided. You do have to qualify. And we'll go over the payout of the policy, like the details of it, what that looks like. And then we'll submit a request for coverage through at the end. Joe, I know it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It's a pretty quick and easy process, okay? So it's a pretty quick and easy process because I don't want them to get overwhelmed. It's an uncomfortable, because we already know this is a tough conversation. A lot of people don't want to have this conversation.
Yeah, you're setting very clear expectations, then taking all the pressure off, which is great, which is awesome. Paul, Gabe, you guys feel free to chime in, by the way. I have not given you any. No, feel free to chime in.
Keisha, I think one of the things you said that if I could give every agent coming into Pinnacle, into this space, and give them an ability that I think would help them so much in every area of this business, truly, but especially in this, is that like being real, being a person, and like making that connection. We just did a training on building rapport, but talk about those points in like speak as if your only people listening were people that had only ever won like one or two appointments, or maybe they just saw the script and you're trying to help them picture in their mind when you're making that connection. Pinpoint in your like presentation, whether that be at the beginning, during the financial inventory, when you're explaining the options, when you feel like you make that real connection with the client and like show them you're a person that cares about them.
Great question, Gabe. I do it when I hit the financial inventory sheet. So that's the part when I'm showing my personality. I'm showing them that I care. So like, Gabe, let's say you tell me that your daughter is 5 years old and you're the only dependent. I'm just making up a scenario. You're the only dependent. You want to make sure that she's taken care of. Let's go with that scenario. So what I'm saying is, hey Gabe, what's your daughter's name? I mean,
Rhonda.
let's role play. Yeah, Rhonda, right? Rhonda. How old is Rhonda?
Rhonda is 13.
Okay. And does Rhonda live with you?
Yes,
Okay.
part
All
of the
right.
time.
And all right. Why were you thinking about Rhonda when you filled out the mortgage protection request? Because again, I'm just off the fly right now. Were you thinking about
Uh,
Rhonda when you filled out the mortgage protection?
yeah, no, I definitely was.
Okay, and what were you trying to accomplish?
Well, I mean, I make the main income, all the income. And, God forbid something happens to me. I don't want her to worry about her home or how she's going to pay for school or, any of those things.
And why is that important to you?
Oh man, I mean, I'm her dad, so I want to make sure I'm providing for her.
And you know what, Gabe? I want to commend you for thinking about Rhonda even at the time of your death, because a lot of people don't think about that until it's too late. So I commend you for that. So that right there, that part that I just did right now, that's the part that I'm showing that I care. And that's just a little trickle, right? And then I'm going more into the financial inventory sheet and whatever they're saying that I'm trying to say how I could convey this to everyone. Whatever they're saying that requires, I don't know how I could put into words, but whatever they're saying that I need to, I guess, show a heart, because that's the only part that's coming up in my head the fastest. Show that I have a heart. I'm going to use that to my advantage. And I'm honing on that so that they can, again, so that they can feel me, because they can't see me, but I want them to feel me. I don't know
Yeah.
if I conveyed that in the best way, but
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
I,
that's
I got I got to
really
say something
strong.
real
Go ahead,
quick.
Paul.
That's so good. Like, I mean, Keisha, I'm sitting here and I've got I only grabbed sticky notes unfortunately before this call, so I've got like 17 sticky notes. Usually, I have like a piece of paper I'm taking notes on. And by the way, if you guys are on this call and you're not taking notes, like, what are we doing? Like, you got 35 minutes. Get as much from every thing in your counter as you possibly can, or it's just a waste of time. You want to take notes, be intentional. Well, Keisha, what you've done is unheard of. I mean, I've been doing this forever, like 18 years. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody at that kind of volume, have 90+% persistency. That's something that everybody should go after. And let me just give some context for that. If you're writing 500,000 a year and somebody's got an 80% persistency and then somebody's got 90% persistency, that's $50,000 in pure profit. So if you guys are on here and you're not intentionally trying to figure out how to increase your persistency, you're missing the boat, because it takes no more true effort. There's just different techniques and strategies that you could be using. One of them, Keisha, you just highlighted when you said, I commend you for that. What that does is it evokes an emotion for the person where they're starting to feel a certain way about the best version of themselves. Everybody by nature wants to see themselves in the best possible light. They want to see themselves as a generous, a kind, a loving person. And there's so many things about life, whether that's relationships, things they're navigating, that gets them to feel not that way a lot of times. But when they get on a call with you, Keisha, and you kind of ask them questions, you paint this picture, they talk about why they sent the request in, which obviously it's going to be because they care about their family. But then you make them feel great about them choosing and making a decision to do something that validates the higher version of them. That causes them to feel a certain way. And people will forget what you say, but they will not forget how you made them feel.
Right.
That's a big reason why your persistency is so good. It's a statement like that anybody that's on here, you overlook it. Like, well, do you say that? Do you say, I commend you for that? Or, man, you got to feel really good about that, Joe, because I talk to a lot of people in a lot of families, they really just don't care, but you do. And you got to feel really good about the fact. In fact, your daughter has got to feel really good about the fact that she's got a dad like you. Dude, now when 3 months go by and a bill pops up and they're thinking like, I got to let something go to pay this bill, then they look at, I'm going to call, I'm going to call the carrier. I'm going to call Kansas City Life and cancel this. And then they remember how they felt. And like, I can't cancel that. Why? Because that feeling reminds me of the best version of myself, which is I care and I take care of my family. That's subtle, but so big. The other point I got to make, Keisha, is just watching you. You got such a good attitude. Like, I just want to like take a picture and stare at you every time I'm having a bad day. Like that's a big deal. Like you
Thank
got
you.
such a good energy. And that's a big, because nowadays we're not sitting face to face with somebody, right? So sometimes I think we can lose track that even though they can't see you, they can feel you. They can see you without seeing you, right? And so, like, I wonder how many people on here, their persistency and closes would go up if they looked more like you when they're calling these families, opposed to just like bitter, like hopefully I can get a sell, hopefully this one will work out. Like you got this body language of positive expectation and the proper anticipation that something good's about to happen. And I think that's a very powerful thing. And the last thing I want to ask, and I got a question for you, I want to highlight, is like when you said how long you've been in the business, and Joe was talking about, how long you've been doing this prior to that kind of breakthrough moment, right? And everybody's breakthrough moment might be different as far as what leads to it. But I do know with certainty that every person has got a breakthrough moment coming. I'm positive. I've seen it. I've seen agents where they struggle for 2 years, barely getting by, and then boom, all of a sudden they're a top producer for 5, 6 years consecutively. I saw it all the time. The difference is they just don't give up. And I was thinking about this the other day with some of these, we got some younger guys that are coming on board at 18, 19. And it's like, think about how long you'd go to college for. You go to college for 4 years or whatever to get a degree, possibly not even really make much money with the degree. You get out and you're in debt. But what a beautiful industry that for the first couple years of you being in here, you were still surviving, you were still getting by, you weren't thriving like you were, but you just didn't give up. And I just want everybody on here to know that the one thing that's certain, that there's a 0%, a shadow of a doubt that you will succeed if you just don't give up. It's going to happen. And sometimes it happens right away. I mean, Joe talks about it. Gabe talks about it. We see the stories of the agent that comes on board. And we talked about this morning on our executive call. Like, this person's been here for 10 days and they've already made $40,000, right? Like that, those happen. But there's also a lot of stories like you, Keisha, where you're just like, I didn't give up. I just believed it was going to work. I didn't know when it was going to happen, but it happened. And for you, it was finding some right mentorship and feedback, which that's important to be able to seek that out. Some people, it's all of a sudden they get the right lead strategy right. Some people all of a sudden they get their schedule and activity right. But there's always something. A lot of times it's due to a mindset thing. See, you had the right strategy. Like, this business is simple. If anybody's on here like, should I do final expense, mortgage protection? You should just invest $1,000 to $2,000 a week in leads. you should make the right amount of phone calls. It's going to work. You say, how do you know that? Well, because I've done all of it. I've worked only final expense and wrote 500,000. I worked only mortgage protection. I wrote 500,000, and I saw dozens of people do the same thing. But for you, I don't think it was final expense versus mortgage. I think it was the mentorship. I think if Mindy had a playbook for final expense, she would be very successful doing final expense. There's no way somebody could argue with you. I would bet all the money in the world that if she was only doing that, she would have the same result. But she just happens to focus on that. But you got the right mentorship, and all of a sudden that shifted. And I think for anybody on here, it might not be mentorship, it might be leads, it might be something else. I want to ask you this question, Keisha, is what's the playbook? So if we look at the playbook for persistency and building those strong client relationship, what would be something that you would say I do consistently that others don't do that makes the greatest difference? I don't know if we just lost Keisha, guys.
I think we did.
Yeah, I saw her. She was freezing
I'm
up.
back. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
back. I didn't hear the last part. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So as we bring you back on, I don't know how we get her back spotlighted, but I would just say, my question is like, there's a playbook that you're running, just like, when you got dialed in with the playbook that Mindy was running, there's certain things that you do like consistently in every client, situation. What is your follow-up? Like if you help a client, they get a policy, do you follow back up with them? Do you call them back, let them know that they got approved? Do you call them back in a month? Like what are some of the playbook things that people could duplicate? Because to your point, it's a very copycat system business. So if somebody's going to do what you do, they should start to see their persistency elevate like yours. What are a couple things in your playbook when it comes to strong, client for life, business that you've built? What does that look like? Like one or two certain things that you
Yes.
do. Yeah, you're coming in.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, so I did hear you, Paul. Thank you for that. A couple of things that I do is that when I'm at the end of the call and I'm wrapping it up after I close the sale, I'm going over again, I'm setting the stage and the expectation. So I just submitted your policy, Paul. Takes about 2 to 5 business days for it to go through underwriting. Once it comes back, you'll either get approved, which is rare, you get declined, but you don't get any coverage at all, or they come back with pushback for a different mortgage protection product. And we'll cross that bridge if we need to, but I'm just gonna go through everything as if you got approved. So about 3 weeks later, you'll receive a big policy packet in the mail. Once you get it, just put a sticky note on there with my first name and my last name and my phone number, just in case, because we never know how someone might find it. And I wanna make sure that they're able to reach me. And then once you get the packet, put it in a safe place. Let your beneficiaries know what that is and what that's for, because we don't want any unclaimed funds. And then I send them my contact information. I text that to them. I ask them to write it down, make sure that they have a copy and give it to their beneficiaries as well. I also let them know that I will be sending them the link while we're on the phone to the client portal to make sure that they've received it. And then that's another way for them to look at their policy overview. And at the bottom, there will be a picture of me so that they know that, everything checks out. And then lastly, I'll seal the deal with my security code, my confirmation code. And I give that to them, tell them to write it down. And I stole this from Alyssa. I say that if anyone else reaches out to them and it's not me and my amazing admin, Richard, they are a scammer. So do not answer any of their questions. That's all Gabe's face. Don't answer any of their questions because they are phishing and I'm the only one with your information. That's the way you want it to be. So I think those are the things, holding their hand and also then letting them know that if anybody comes behind me trying to ask you questions about your policy, you don't have to answer their questions. And I really hope that you don't, because I don't want you to get scammed.
So good.
I like that.
I'll say this, and you guys, Gabe and Joe, whatever, you guys want to add to it, wrap up, I'll be quiet. I'm excited about this conversation because I just know that this is such a big deal. I think in this business, like we've seen the person that comes on and they pay $1 million a year in volume, but like their persistency is not good. And it's like, well, for one, you're not keeping the money you should be keeping, and you're not really protecting the families you should be protecting. Like you gotta you gotta be a real business person, a real agent that serves these clients and they keep the policy. But I love how what I would say to everybody on here is like Keisha's communicating in such a way that she assumes that the policy is going to never end. Like she's walking through the beneficiary, I'm going to send it to him. So she's building this narrative and picture with which is like, you're never going to let this go. Like this will pay out one day. I need the beneficiary information because I'm the person that's going to be there. So that's the one thing is like you're really painting the picture and getting them to realize like this isn't. And I think a lot of agents go in like with like hopefully they don't cancel. I don't want to say too much, and it's like you're missing the whole boat. You got to be assumptive that why would they cancel? This is the most important thing they could ever get for their family. It would be really weird if they cancel this. The second thing is like, you really kind of putting a hedge of protection around that client and that policy you wrote by letting them know what could take place. And it could be a scammer. It could be somebody that's trying to replace that piece of business and put them in a much more inferior situation, which would be harmful for the client. And if you, as an agent, believe that you're the best person to serve and equip that family, you should believe that anybody else that's going to call them is going to do something that's going to harm them because you've already done the best for them. And so, kind of creating that story, and especially nowadays, people are terrified to have a scam take place. They know AI, they got all these stories coming on in their head where they just talk to their friend Betty, that Betty just, talked to their granddaughter, and their granddaughter wasn't their granddaughter, it was AI, and they somehow got them 20 grand, all that stuff's going off. And so now when somebody calls and says, hey, I want to review your policy, they're like, no, like Keisha, and they hang up the phone, which is what you want. You want to protect your client because you did the best for your client. So I love it. I think it's so, so good. I think this is probably one of the most important conversations that we could have to really provide value to the sales force, because guys, if your persistency just goes up 10%, you make so much more for your family, and it's just net profitability. It takes no more volume. It's just keeping what you've already sold. It's a big deal.
Keisha.
And they also like this line. Go ahead, Joe, what you said?
Oh, I was just saying thank you so much. That was really, really good. The way you tie down the sale, the way you're building that connection with your client. I mean, it's not hard to see why your clients stay on the books.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
on that same energy, if I didn't know this already, and if you don't, maybe you're newer on here, a lot of people, they hear Keisha, your persistency, and they sometimes I'll hear these kind of questions like, oh, what's her follow-up game? I had a client, a newer agent asked me today, how many times should I be following up for my clients? Do I call them like every day? He's like, that can't be right. And the truth is, where you get that great persistency is in that initial conversation.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that you follow up with them once a month and that's why they never cancel. It's that you did such a good job in that presentation. And maybe you follow up like once or once a year they hear from you, but you're not reaching out to your clients every month. You're just doing a really good job in that first presentation.
I'm reaching out to them every day, Gabe. I'm joking.
she's
I reach
been
out to
she's been texting this whole time.
I do have a client that texts me every day just to say good morning. But I also at the end when I'm tying it down of the sale, also when I'm calling them to let them know that they got approved. I think a lot of agents will drop just say, oh, they got approved. They'll see it come out their bank account. They're good to go. But that's not that's not going to keep them on the books. So when I'm calling them again and letting them know, okay, you got an approved, I'm repeating everything that I said because they probably wanted to get off the phone quick, or they probably don't remember. So I'm repeating everything that I said again so that I'm really sealing that deal and that nobody's coming behind me to take my client.
Very good.
Keisha, that was gold right there. Hopefully you guys did not miss that. If you're not doing that for your clients
Yeah.
and you're having some chargeback issues, that's probably a big reason why. I know how I am at the end of a call. Someone's telling me something. Keisha said it right. I'm starting to tune them out. I'm already thinking about my next meeting, my next call, what's for lunch, whatever it is. That cement call is what I call it. That cement call on the second one. Hey, you're approved. Just want to again recap exactly how this works. Now they're paying attention because that's going to be a 3-minute call versus the 45-minute call yesterday. You caught them at the tail end. So
Exactly.
that was gold, Keisha. I love that. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, y'all, I want to cut y'all loose. Keisha, thank you so much for taking the time, pouring into the team today. This was a great call. Hopefully everybody got some good things written down. Again, knowledge does not help you. It's applied knowledge. Take what you learned today, put it into action today, and you're going to see your persistency start to inch up. It's going to put dollars and cents back into your family's budget. Have an amazing day, guys. Talk to y'all real soon. Let's kill it.
See you guys.